Hello, my name is Charlotte and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please click subscribe. I make videos every week on a range of topics such as charity shopping, book hauls and cheap fashion. This is going to be my June wrap up. I only really got into reading again recently thanks to the wonderful BookTube community, and this month has been a really good month for books. I read 7 books in total. 1 that I rated 2 stars, 3 that I rated 4 stars and 3 that I gave 5 stars to, so it has been a good month. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. The book that I gave a 2-star to is Thin Air by Michelle Paver. This book has got amazing ratings and I just don't get it. I got a 2-star because it obviously kept me gripped enough not to DNF it. I'm not the kind of person that DNFs books unless I'm really struggling. But it is set in the 1930s and it's about a group of men that are attempting an expedition. It's meant to be creepy, and the only thing that I did find creepy is the kind of, how do I put it? Obviously there's the isolation factor of it, but apart from that, I like something to scare me and I was not scared at all during this. So next we will go in with my 3 4-star books, and again I'm going to be controversial here. The first one is Lie With Me by Sabine Durand. This one is one that has really bad ratings and I've not actually heard anybody else say that they enjoyed this, but I loved it. One of the main criticisms of this book is how slowly the plot develops, but I quite like that. It's centred on the main character of Paul, I think. I'm so bad at remembering characters when I've read it. But anyway, he's not a very likeable character, but he gets his way onto a family holiday to a Greek island, and I found that the slowness of the plot kind of made me think of the slowness of a Greek island getaway, so I quite like that. The best bit of this book is the ending. In the last kind of 90 pages, I didn't expect that ending, and I will read another Sabine Durand book. Next is Sophie Kinsella's Finding Audrey. From what I can gather, this is the only YA book that Sophie Kinsella has read. I've previously read the Shopaholic books and I love them just for a bit of fun. And the only thing I was really torn on this one because a lot of people have said that it's the whole trope of boy meets girl and then girl's anxiety is cured, but I didn't read it like that. And as someone with anxiety, I really resonated with a lot of the things that Audrey goes through in this. I like that it talks about her in therapy. I really like that it never fully tells you exactly what happened. It talks about an event where she ended up leaving school, but she goes, I'm really messing this up, aren't I? It talks about this event that happened in school, but she never fully tells you exactly what happened, and I like that because I like the idea that those of us with mental health issues don't owe anybody a full explanation of why we're like that. So yeah, I thought that was great. And another YA mental health is My Heart and Other Black Holes. A trigger warning for this book is that it is about suicide. 2 teenagers plan to commit suicide together, and the book unravels why they've picked that date and why they both want to commit suicide, and I really enjoyed that. So let's get on to my 5-star reads this month. First is a non-fiction book, and it is With the End in Mind by Katherine Mannix. I've mentioned before that I'm a student nurse and I'm particularly interested in palliative and end-of-life care. Before I went into my nursing, I was looking at either nursing or midwifery, and Katherine Mannix talks about how palliative care nurses are kind of the midwives to end-of-life care, and I thought that was such a good comparison, and it is a kind of book that everybody should read. I think whether you've been involved in death or not, it's something that happens to everyone, and she talks about how in the past families were prepared for it because you know, young children were there. They were living in multiple generational families, so were there for deaths. It talks about people's fears regarding their deaths, and it was just a really brilliant book. The next one that I read was Elizabeth is Missing. Again, kind of on the same theme. This is I don't know whether you'd call it a thriller, more of a crime mystery. And it is a lady, Maud, who clearly has Alzheimer's disease, and it shows how she gets through life. She writes herself notes but then forgets what the note were about. And it also shows the human side of her daughter. I'm going to say Helen. I'm terrible, aren't I? Helen, who lives with her mum with the Alzheimer's. And some of the really beautiful bits that I found were like when Helen gets frustrated and Maud doesn't understand why Helen's frustrated, even though she's had the same conversations with her over and over again. And the last book that I read this month, and I literally finished this at about 1 o'clock this morning, is Matched, which is the first of a trilogy by Ali Condé. I've never read a dystopian before, but I really enjoyed this. I've already started reading the second book today. It shows of a society where the officials know what's best for people, and they plan everything down to your meals being delivered in a foil tin, to you being matched with the person that genetically you're meant to be with, and everybody dies on their 80th birthday. It's just how it happens before they can deteriorate too much. Again, loved this book and gave it 5 stars. So there we have it. That is everything that I read in the last month. Let me hold these up here. 7 books. Let me know if you've read any of these, and also if you have any recommendations for me to read on the back of these. I'm going to be keeping all but Thin Air in my collection. Thin Air will be going to the charity shop. So let me know what you think.